So guys, today we're going to be doing the full speed test with the Samsung Galaxy A56 versus the S22 Ultra. And yeah, I did the full comparison like maybe 7 months ago when the A56 first came out. A lot of people are actually making this like purchasing decision, choosing between these two phones, which I think is pretty interesting. And yeah, I'll leave a link to the full video. So, we have a lot of new people, here that probably didn't see it. But I still want to do the speed test for a lot of people because, they've been requesting it. All right, so we are on Android 16 and we have the HN1 in the 1580 processor on the A56. Started here, we got everything out of the background. Very curious to see how this goes here. See if the A56 can remain smooth with this processor. Okay, S22 a little bit faster there. It's pretty smooth on both. A little bit I don't know what that was. It was a little jerky on that back animation on the A56. Yeah, it just cleaned itself up. Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah, it's very like it's doing it kind of like randomly. Okay, Google Earth. So they both got in here basically at the same time. The scrolling, punch in, punch out feels very smooth on both. Okay, YouTube Music, that was pretty much the same. Pokemon Go. Okay, we got Temple Run. The S22 has a lot more colorful panel here. I do have vividness turned up all the way on the A56, but it's the older Super AMOLED panel. Oh, the A56 actually beat it there. Okay. Very nice. Very good back animation so far, except for that really weird kind of animation on the A56 with the Subway Surfer. But so far, we're pretty consistent. We're pretty much on board here with the S22 in general, just being a little bit quicker. Scrolling is very smooth, very fast on both. Very good back animation right there. So this is the kind of area where I think both these phones, they do like a little weird animation glitch thing. Okay, so that was smooth. Alright, so it was smooth on both. Typically there's like this weird thing that they do if they're in landscape mode coming back to the home screen. I think it's a bug, honestly, but it doesn't do it on the S25 or 24. We'll come back to this camera, but so far, I mean, this is very consistent. See what we get here. Like, there's not a massive difference with general, your normal everyday apps, and video games seem to be loading up the same. So no issues here. Like I said, these are both 8 gigs of RAM. So I'm curious to see if it'll keep its, smoothness. And for your reference, here is the Geekbench scores for both of these. I think this is the best score for the S22 here. So you guys can see the S22 is going to come out on top in that single core, but the A56 does come out on top in that multi-core. Okay. Geometry dash. Yeah, very good so far. Okay, a little bit of a stutter there. Yeah, sometimes you might get like a little stutter, and honestly it's on both of these phones sometimes, and then if you do it again, it smooths itself out. It could be a little annoying, but it's not all the time. Okay, we got Angry Birds, and if you guys are not subscribed, be sure to subscribe. We do daily videos. A lot of the videos on this channel is basically user requested, right? I rarely do videos where I'm just kind of thinking about video ideas. I always go off of you guys' comments. Okay. Angry Birds, a little bit quicker on the S22. Our social media apps, YouTube, boom, that looked pretty much the same. Instagram, also pretty much the same. TikTok. Okay. Again, they feel very similar. Like I said, they have, pretty similar scores here for you guys as reference. The S22 is going to be a little bit more powerful since it's a Snapdragon. We're going to get better scores in Wildlife Extreme at 2000 and basically 1300. RAM management, see how that goes. See if we remain smooth here. Okay, we did get a kick out already on the S22 here. So the A56 so far is in the lead here when it comes to RAM management. Like another kick out, another kick out. So the S22 kind of kicked out, and I'm assuming it, okay, so the A56 did a better job because I'm assuming it's going to kick out everything after this. So again, if you're one of those people that multitask, like heavy multitask, and you need your apps to stay open, you're going to want to get a S22 with 12 gigs around. And the A56, I can't remember if it has a 12 gig RAM version. I don't think so. You guys can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on that. Yeah, so I just kicked everything out. So again, these are not phones where you're going to be like crazy multitasking, but you can on the S22 12 gig. But yeah, as far as the overall consistency and being smooth, they both are pretty much on par with each other. And just doing that little app opening test here, let's see, A56. Both phones are actually warm to the touch, but it's nothing that you would really, care about. It's not hot or anything like that. So let's just swipe up and get that multitasking. Okay, very smooth on both. Very nice. That was kind of weird looking on the S22. Okay, very smooth. So I think your general, flying through the UI and stuff like that, swiping down, looks really good on both. Check out PUBG. Let's go ahead and open that up. And yeah, we might see maybe a bigger difference here when we do video rendering. But so far, not bad at all. The A56 is easily able to keep up with the S22. Okay. So they both load up PUBG. It doesn't take forever, which is good. Alright, so I believe the S22 does, plays PUBG at 90 frames, and it's very smooth. You can come in here and pretty much play a game of PUBG just fine. It's not going to be like crashing and lagging. And, Call of Duty and a bunch of other games work pretty well. Let's see. Yeah, this is at 60 frames. Most people at this budget, you're probably not going to be doing a bunch of hardcore gaming. If you're doing, kind of hardcore gaming or competitive gaming, then you're going to want to spend just a little bit more money and get an S23, phone. I'm assuming if you're choosing between these two sizes, you should probably go with a S23 Plus or the Ultra, which is going to cost you, it's going to cost you a little bit more. But I think it's worth it if you are someone that does competitive, mobile gaming. But both these phones, if you're just casually coming in here playing games, yeah, the S22 is going to be a little bit quicker. It's going to feel a little bit quicker compared to the A56 because the Snapdragon is better optimized for gaming, and it overall just has that better score when it comes to GPU. Another speed difference that you will notice, and this is, I think, a very minor thing, but you have an optical fingerprint scanner, which it's not bad by any means, but it's one of those, the optical ones, you kind of have to apply pressure, that's all. The ultrasonic ones feel just a little bit quicker. You can just kind of lightly tap them. So I'll show you guys again. Like if I try to lightly tap this one, like do that kind of quick tapping motion, it won't register. Only A56. All right, we got a 4K 30 video because the A56 can't do 4K 60. So we're gonna see the render difference times here. It's a 1 minute video. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So, like I was saying, this is probably the biggest difference. I'm very surprised with the A56. I think it's performing very well. A lot of people don't like these, you know, processors. But you know, it's pretty decent. I don't have an issue with it. You guys can see this is probably the biggest difference we'll see here with the rendering, and this is with no effects or anything like that. All right, so 33 seconds for the S22. And it looks like we have, all right, around 49 seconds for the A56. So a bit slower, but again, not terribly bad. So it's, you know, pretty decent for a mid-ranger, and this thing is not hot. Yeah, they're both warm, but they're not super hot, burning to the touch. One of the biggest issues with the S22 Ultra is that people just, you know, say it just gets really hot. And I could definitely understand that because this was just a, you know, kind of a lighter test, but in the real world, if you were like running GPS on this thing and recording video, yeah, this thing will heat up for sure. I'm not, you know, denying that at all. But for general usage, the S22 Ultra is fine. If you're choosing between these two phones, like I said, I like more the S23 Ultra a little bit more, but you know, if this is within your budget or whatever, then you know it's fine. Like both phones are gonna run pretty similar, with the S22 being a little bit more powerful, of course here. But if you do really want the A56, it's not bad. It's not a super slow phone. It is gonna have its cons compared to the S22 Ultra, but it's not a bad phone at all. If you want to go the mid-range route, because you just want a new phone, right? You don't want to buy used refurbished. So yeah, check out the full comparison so you guys can see everything else, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.